It's like a little kid that stole my heart. I don't have a choice but to, you know what it means to love someone. Most people have like a checklist of people who, if they pass all this stuff, and they say, okay, I'll let you in my heart. And I just got that person that try to bust through. And that's the people that can be smooth criminals. I don't think it's worthwhile to try to beg for somebody's heart. If you gotta ask for it, chances are they're not gonna give it to you. Not how love works. It's not like it's, did you love me? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just, like I have any control over what goes on in my heart. I can just influence what influences my heart. I can choose the environment or the group which I will receive nourishment. I was always fascinated by when it came to people in groups. You go someplace with people, you start out the same place with them, and in a week you see they are part of a group, and that, you know, it's like they're a new person. New as in terms of they most likely act like they're better than you. To something like, oh, you just joined this group, now you all this and that. That's what I got from college. This is like the one thing that I did learn there. Now, with the group that I was born in, college was not something that was um, common until the times of my generation. I would say not even 10 years before my generation, but right specifically, my generation came in, all the student loans, all these people started going to college because of the government. They just accept you something. They will co-sign on these loans. My parents didn't go to college. They couldn't afford it. They was just looking at people in college like, oh, man, they must know something. Something I don't know. Maybe that's the reason why they have all this and that. So you're talking about a really good social experiment. I've always learned from people. That's what being in the streets. You see, in all these buildings, there are rules. In the school, there are rules. In the church, there are rules. At the store, there are rules. And in the house, there are rules. But on the street, we made up our own rules. Other than the traffic rules, we was pretty much free to just, do as we please. And you would see that there are rules that are held on the streets that has to do with, it's like it's a natural rules. It's implied. So I already forgot the point that I was in. That's a really good point. I'm going to take at least 2 minutes to get back to this point. About basically just learning from people, from experience, how to steal hearts. I forgot the rule. Oh yeah, the social experiment. So my generation was the first generation to go to college. Like there's plenty of black people went to college before, but never in mass. The common people got to go to college. So I get to college, and I saw that there were these fraternities and sororities. I saw a lot. You saw the football teams and basketball teams. They had their own society, their own group. Mainly these fraternity groups is what bothered me, because in the streets there was a pecking order. There was you look at somebody and determine if they were cool or if they were not cool, and that's really based on a person who was not somebody who knew the rules of the street, but just somebody who just was what I would is like gold, like malleable. It's not it's not a rule. It's more like a principle, a rule of thumb that can take forms in all different kind of ways. But if you see it, you just know how to respond to something like that. How to respond in the best way. In a way where if everybody saw what happened, people would be like, "Damn, that dude was cool. That was cool. That was good what you did." You know. So I had so much experience just from the neighborhood that I grew up, just with the environment. I was really born in a rich environment in terms of being able to play outside in the street and make friends. I probably had over, I don't know how many friends growing up. At least, I was friends with everybody in my neighborhood. So collectively, it was at least 20 or more. Not even counting the people that was all the way on the other side. But sure, really, it got to the point where I felt that anywhere I went as a boy, like using my feet as far as I could walk. I had friends. I had people who knew me, who was familiar with me, who related to me. I was always outside. I didn't spend much time indoors, which I realized later that indoors is where all these crazy rules exist. You need to smile. You need to do this. You're always under somebody's rule. And their rules are based on somebody else's rules and this and that. There are natural rules, natural principles. And those who know it, and those who feel it, and those who can move to it, who's permeable, who basically respects him. Person who knows how to basically relate to their soul, to the people. are the ones who I looked up to, who the people looked up to. It's like whoever had the most soul, even though we never addressed it like that, but that's basically what it is. Who was cool with everybody else? Who didn't have a problem with life? Who seemed to be dumb? Who seemed to be winning? Who seemed to be enjoying life? And who seemed to spread that feeling when you met them, when you were around them? Like they were like a light for others. Where they went, peace followed them. Love followed them, respect followed them, attention followed them. These are like natural phenomena that I just became used to growing up. And I just thought it was, an experience that everybody shared. But it was like it was like giants all around me. So when I went to college, it was just a different order. So those guys who I went in the streets with, they were like a few years before the really mass college thing hit. So they didn't go to college. And I was kind of like one of the ones who went to college. I went to college and I knew. I mean, I showed up in the 8th grade. I mean, in freshman with the attitude like, you know, who's the man here? I didn't see no one cooler than myself. That's kind of the attitude that I had, basically. Because I'm basing all this off of streets, like the neighborhood that I was from and everything. And I could just look and say, okay, where are you from? And just make certain guesses as to what they were allowed to experience and what they were not allowed. I grew up in a renaissance, really a cultural renaissance. You had outcasts coming in on the scene. You had a whole range of guys who were predominantly from my area receiving what I saw was just worldwide attention. I didn't see any other guys who looked like me or acted like me who was receiving this kind of universal attention from the world. So I figured that, you know, what's good is definitely where I'm from is what's good. What's good is definitely um, the people, the culture, the music that I had all this experience with. And in college, I see, these guys came from everywhere. They came from countryside. They came from places where they didn't have a lot of social experience. And you could just tell, at this point in time, I've already went through this social, which probably was hell for most people, high school. Which is a different, whole another shocking story. Like I went to an all-white high school, so from 8th grade to senior, I was the coolest one in my high school. To me, that's that was my attitude. That's just how I felt. Cause this was my first time being around like these white people, and they were just corny. It's like they were not connected on a deep level. there's there's nothing that's connecting them together, basically. You can't just be say you're a group based on the color. Now on the opposite end of that is the black group, but they do have something that connects them, which is a social pressure. Call it oppression, call it discrimination. Like they getting blows basically. So the white people group are not really receiving blows. You know, nobody's ashamed. Just like maybe they're now. You know, black people, man, they just get embarrassed. It's like a beat down in the schools, on the media, and the movies. Every time you see people from this group um, in the school, they just dogging them. In Hollywood, they just dogging them. They just flat out ignoring them. It's embarrassing. So they're just getting like they're like a punching bag for America. I don't know how you can really describe it. At any rate, at this particular point in time, none of this was known to me. I mean, I heard about it. I heard about slavery and stuff. But what I knew is that we was getting love. Pretty much for just rapping. And I didn't attribute it to anything, but I just knew that. I was like, yeah, that guy, you know, this guy named Usher. He was a famous singer, still is today. And I swear, I could, I walked through his neighborhood plenty of times. I received respect and attention. Everybody pretty much give each other respect and attention. Respect the attention that we were able to get at that time was just really just we would go to different neighborhoods and play basketball. But it was that region, it was that whole area that was getting this national attention. And it was different from the national attention that black people were getting in New York. So it's like we was kind of doing our own thing, and it was like this dirty South kind of thing was coming into the scene. You had Freaknik coming down the pipe. Like Freaknik was in Atlanta. It's like most people don't really know about it today, but this is like some national stuff that was big, and it was happening in my backyard. When I went to college, these sororities and fraternities, they seem to. I'm like, look, you just got here at the same time I just got here. Our generation just got here, so don't say nobody got you got some kind of connections to some Greek social order. The social order don't get no love on the street. I know that much. You go on the street talking that stuff, see what happens. It don't fit into the natural order of things. But I saw that people just lost their mind when they joined these fraternities. Like, you can only carry that attitude in your fraternity, and maybe with other fraternities. Y'all can all turn your nose up at people who are not in the fraternity or the sorority. But it was just so weak to me. Because I'm like, you just came here. How this group gonna make you into somebody, you know? That was the phenomenon I see. I said we would join the basketball, football team. I was like, damn, they getting popularity. I couldn't understand why they were becoming so popular. Why people was like, especially with the ladies. The ladies was all into the frats, into the football players and basketball players, and it was just such a mystery to me. But those groups had a stage. They had an arena. They had a platform. They had a light for people to see. So the fraternities would have some event or party or step show, And they would get people together, and you could see the people in there. You see what they're doing. They're doing something good for the people.